It is not during the moments of celebration where our faith is truly forged, nor is it during the moments of triumph. But it is literally during the times that we experience grief greeting us at the door every morning, and we wake up with sorrow as an unwanted person in the bed. This is the moment where we are forged in a unique way by God to understand what loss is all about. It is not during the times when we build, but it's during the time periods that we rebuild that our character is forged. Whether it is Katrina, whether it is the Gulf Coast, or even in Haiti. And one of those moments is during the time period of 9/11, which is like a psychic scar upon many people in our country, where over 3,000 people died during that time period, not only from America, but from Nigeria, Jamaica, China, England, Sweden, all across the globe. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Jews, and atheists lost their life during that time period. And the response by the American government was war. One war in Afghanistan and one in Iraq, looking for weapons that have suddenly disappeared. $1 billion spent, and that was our response to loss. But there is another group of people, two women, one by the name of Patty, one by the name of Susan, living in Boston. They were pregnant and lost their husbands as a result of 9/11. And as a result of that, they decided to build and produce a foundation beyond 9/11, not a foundation to support people who lost loved ones in America, but to help women in Afghanistan rebuild their lives. And in this day and age where people are talking about burning a Quran, here you have two women who lost their husbands, but instead of burning something, they decided to rebuild something. One writer actually said that when love entered the equation, revenge left the room. This was their response to loss. And maybe as a country, we can learn something from Patty and Susan. There was another gentleman that understands this idea of loss. His name is David. When David lost his baby, the Old Testament character of David, he made the decision to begin to worship. Worship that would give him self-critique and worship that would change his priorities. Maybe as a nation, maybe as a people, we need to learn how to worship, not just attend church or synagogue or a mosque, but understand how we critique ourselves to deepen our relationship with God. And it is a gentleman by the name of Carl Joseph, who I believe lives in Madison, Florida. He was born without a leg, and as a result of that, many young people teased him, but his mother never treated him as a person who was handicapped. His father wanted nothing to do with him, and his stepfather died when he was a child. His mother attempted to raise 10 children by herself. And he wanted to play football as a young man. He was told that he could do all things through Christ who strengthens him, but the coach did not want to allow him on the team. He only had one leg. Eventually, they allowed him on the team, but they never allowed him to play. But eventually, in his senior year, he was allowed to play nose tackle on the team and ended up becoming a star of that team and eventually wanted to go to college and made his way to Bethune-Cookman College in Florida. And this gentleman, Carl Joseph, was talking with my father. My father was helping him to get into school, a seminary later on. And my father asked him, he said, I wanted to know, how was it possible for you to play football with one leg? You were a nose tackle in high school, and now you're a middle linebacker for Bethune-Cookman. And Carl Joseph said, well, you must understand, I have one visible leg, but I also have an invisible leg. One leg you can see, and another leg that is supported by the Spirit of God. I never understood the idea of loss because God replaced that loss with the power and the Spirit that comes from on high. And so now I want to move into the ministry and share with other people that what has been removed, the Spirit of God can replace. Maybe there is something that we can learn from a Patty and a Susan. Maybe there's something that we can learn from a Carl Joseph, that there is life after loss. Amen.